coming to you live from the Build Forward Tough Studio. Boomer Esiason and Greg Giannotti. It's Boomer and Gio on the Fan. Simulcast across the country on CBS Sports Network and wherever you are in the free Odyssey app. Good Wednesday morning. Another disappointing performance by the Knicks. You got to tip your cap spot a little bit to the Indiana Pacers because that team was flying. Tyrese Haliburton had the night of all nights with his triple-double and no turnovers. And that team just played their asses off. But the Knicks played their worst full game of the series. Turnovers, sloppy play, foul trouble again early on for Karl Anthony Towns. Just not being able to convert under the basket for OG Anunoby. Just so many annoying things going on. Jalen Brunson's bad fourth quarter. Now they're down 3-1 with a chance to extend their season tomorrow night at Madison Square Garden. But I got to be honest with you, with the way the Pacers have played and the way that the Knicks played last night, I'm now making plans. I am making plans for no NBA Finals for the New York Knicks. I'm sorry. That's the way I feel. I looked at my calendar. I got stuff that I was going to cancel if the Knicks were in the finals. It's a go this morning, Boomer, because that sucked last night. Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, good morning, Jay. A little tired this morning, as most Knicks fans probably are that are listening to us. But, I'm not going to go that far. It's not over until they win 4 games, and it's not done yet. But I will say, last night's performance, number one, by Haliburton, was an amazing performance. May have been the greatest single performance in playoff history, given the fact they didn't have any turnovers to go along with a triple-double. The other thing that was really, really, really frustrating is just how many easy buckets the Pacers got, whether it was on inbounds plays, whether a lack of rotation on Knicks defensive strategy, not getting to where they needed to get to, whether it was just lazy. I mean, just absolute flat-out lazy defense down the center of the lane. I mean, there was nobody got touched going down the middle lane. I'll tell you who did get touched. Karl Anthony Towns got touched. They were hanging all over him.
Yeah.
But, and another thing with him, the stupid fouls, enough already. Enough of grabbing the wrist of somebody else. Enough of, tying up somebody's arm that's underneath your armpit and, everybody in the world can see it. I mean, just idiotic things like that just drive you crazy. And then, of course, you have the two wings. And the two wings had 2 of their worst games. OG Anunoby and, of course, Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges just got completely torched by Haliburton. There was no energy from OG. And how many times was OG under the basket?
Yeah.
Where he wouldn't go up with the basketball?
Well, that was one of the first things that I said. I mean, I don't know what was going on, and he's been one of my favorite Knicks. I love the guy. I said that he was the second best player on the team, and all of these things. This is the second game in the playoffs where he looked like he lost his mind. Like he completely lost the ability to play basketball.
Did Reggie Miller say at the end of the game this was like one of OG's best games?
He could not have said that.
He said something along those lines.
If he said that, I missed that. He could not have said that.
I sat up and I said, did he really actually just say what I think he said?
Yeah.
Obviously Pascal Siakam killed him. Mm-hmm. So your 2 wing players, your 2 best defensive players, basically got torched last night. Your point guard, just did not have one of it. He started out great. Offensively. Defensively, he's horrendous. And the turnovers were just killers. Josh Hart took full ownership of it after the game. And I always appreciate when athletes are able to stand up and let you know what they think that they did wrong. Mikal Bridges did the same thing. So both Hart and Mikal Bridges after the game last night said that this game was on them individually. They didn't think that they put up their best performances, and I concur. I mean, Josh Hart was completely out of control last night, as was at times Brunson was completely out of control last night, and they were playing the Pacers' pace.
Yeah, I mean, they controlled that game. I mean, the offense was okay for the Knicks. They just couldn't keep up with the Pacers. But really what it comes down to, the Knicks have more talented players. The Pacers just know who they are better, and they're a better team that plays better together. I mean, that's really what it is. I mean, the Pacers have an identity. You know exactly who they're going to be every single night. And by the way, we're hoping that Nesmith doesn't play or is hampered. He comes out looking like the healthiest guy in the entire freaking series. He's all over Jalen Brunson. I mean, he couldn't even get a a step on the guy, and he's hitting threes early on. I'm like, this is just. I mean, I really thought that the Knicks were going to get an advantage last night. He ended up setting the tone in the beginning of the game. But it just feels like the Pacers know who they are, and they know what to do, and they're confident in who they are. And the Knicks are still, they just don't have that consistent identity. You know, whether it's a Brunson night or a Towns night, or it just I don't know what to expect anymore from these guys. Is Mikal Bridges going to be able to hit those mid-range jumpers? I know he's not going to be able to hit a three, and why they were feeding him the ball in the fourth quarter more than the other guys, God knows, with the way we watched him shoot threes the entire freaking year.
Pretty much everybody was bricking threes. It's
horrible. Just horrible.
There were 3 series in a row there towards the end where Mikal Bridges missed 3 in a row. And, the Pacers came down the other end and got points, and, that's the microcosm of the game right there.
I mean, transition defense is horrible, and the turnovers. As I think Tibbs used the best word last night after the game, where he says, our turnovers fueled their offense, which is true. They fueled it.
How about Deuce McBride going down the lane? Looks like he's got a wide open layup.
Yeah,
and he goes to throw it to the corner and throws it away.
Yeah,
I mean that was kind of indicative of the way the game was played. The series is not over. I'm not giving up. I mean, as a Knicks fan, it's always been tough. It's always been hard. There have always been those moments where you think, God, man, they did it to me again. But I've stood here and I've watched where they have actually exceeded every one of my expectations. And here they are. They're in the Final Four. They're in the Final Four.
No,
let's not forget that.
Right. No, all that's great. I'm not killing this group. I'm not killing Tibbs. I'm thrilled where they got. I really am. I mean, the excitement that they have brought us to get to the first Eastern Conference Finals in 25 years, I'm not knocking any of that stuff. No way, no how. I love these guys. Love Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, OG, all of them, even though they played miserable last night. But the Pacers are in a better situation with where their team is right now to go and compete for a championship than the Knicks are. And it's clear. And they've made that clear throughout the series. And that's really what it comes down to, is the Knicks are still trying to figure out exactly who they are. The Pacers know exactly who they are, and they've been sticking it to the Knicks for a majority of the series. And I understand that the Knicks blew game 1 and the Pacers blew game 3, and you want to say that those even out. Well, I mean, it really, the Knicks feel like they've been down the entire frickin' series. I mean, that's what it's felt like, to be honest with you. After they came back, the Pacers came back in the fourth quarter. I feel like the Knicks never have a lead.
Yeah, we had the fourth quarter of game 1.
I mean, my God, right, of game 1. I just and then Haliburton he's been okay up until last night. Last night he was great. He was flat out elite last night with his dad in the building. It just felt like last night, and I don't want to make it sound like a totally defeatist. It's just exactly the way I feel. It just felt like last night that the Pacers earned their ticket to the finals. Like, it's going to happen at some point. They played their ass off. Their stars showed up. Their coach is I mean, the way that they are suffocating Jalen Brunson, trying to get the ball up the court, and then how, shot he looked in the fourth quarter, it felt like the Knicks were on their last breath last night.
Well, we talked about that before the series started.
Yeah.
About, the lengths that the Pacers will go to make Jalen Brunson work really, really hard to bring the ball up.
Yeah.
And when that happens, then he becomes a complete liability on defense. And he's not involved. He's not going to fight over a pick. He's always going to go under a pick. There's always going to be somebody that's going to be wide open for a three-point shot. The rotation was terrible last night on defense. I mean, I was shocked at just some of the inbounds plays. How guys go right down the middle of the lane and there's nobody standing there. It's either that to me is a lack of coaching. That's either a lack of awareness by the players or a lack of preparedness by the coach. I mean, I'm sure you guys talk about this, but how many times is a guy going to come down the lane and nobody be there? And Karl Anthony Towns is going to be standing up at the top of the key guarding, his guy, Turner. And then all of a sudden they're going to run a play, and nobody is going to be back by the basket.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this last night because, Reggie Miller and everybody's talking about it, this is, and even this morning, played into the Pacers' hands. That's like the way they like to play basketball. That's their identity. So I'm thinking, I've heard this through the entire frickin' playoffs. Like the Pistons, they play, it's going to be rough and tumble, and they're going to be physical with you, and that's the way that they play. The Boston Celtics are going to be shooting threes all over the place. That's how they won the championship the year before. The Indiana Pacers are going to be up and down. They're going to be faster. They're going to be in transition. playing into the Knicks' hands is what? What are they? Like, when people say, oh, you play into the Knicks' hands or the game.
Jalen Brunson is what they are.
Right, but that's not good enough. Like,
Right.
you can't just be one freaking guy. Every other team that the Knicks have played, it's like, this is the way the team plays. If someone asked me, like, how do the Knicks play? How do the Knicks win? There's no consistent answer.
Well, you would say that Jalen Brunson would have the ball.
It's got to be Superman. It's not supposed to be like that.
Jalen Brunson will have the ball about 80% of the time.
It's not supposed to be like that.
If not more than that.
Right. But that's not good. You know what I'm saying?
He dribbles the ball most of the time. I would say probably 75% of the time he dribbles the ball up. He goes to the top left. He runs a screen across the middle. He either dishes it to somebody off the wing, or they try to play a little bit of give and go, or maybe alley-oop with Mitchell Robinson.
But that's not really an identity.
I understand that, but I'm just telling you that's what they are.
That's an issue, right? But that's what they are.
And they're supposed to be a defensive team.
Right, and they're horrendous defensively. Horrendous. I mean, when OG and Mikal Bridges play like that defensively, they are horrendous defensively because no one else can do anything. And Josh Hart was miserable, too.
Well, Josh Hart's a defender. He's a rebounder, and every now and then he'll make a shot. But and he should hit most of his free throws. They hit most of their free throws last night again. But I would say that, to me, it was Mikal Bridges and OG that just got sliced and diced on defense and really didn't bring the explosion back on the offensive side to counteract what Siakam and what Haliburton were doing.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I think that is absolutely right, and I maybe, and they haven't even played well at home, so it's not even like, man, you get back to the Garden for Game 5, and you feel like they're going to win that game. If somehow you can get another one, Game 6, you're back to the Garden. They haven't played well at home, so why would you even have any confidence in them playing well at home?
I'll tell you what, if this turns out to be like Game 7 was last year, that's going to be really disappointing. Game 7 against the Pacers last year was like, Jalen Brunson got hurt. OG, nobody was out. Julius Randle was out. Everybody, they just kept dropping like flies.
Yeah.
Well, this is what I want to see, and this is all I want to see in Game 5, okay? I want to see a team that is going to defend its home court and show the fans exactly what the fans want to see, and that is a hard-nosed, in-your-face defensive basketball team that is not going to take any crap from anybody and is going to go after players, especially if they come down the lane. I want to see the defensive prowess that they should be known for under this coach. And I want to see a level of pride that the fans deserve to see in Game 5 in their building. I do not want to see them get lit up by Tyrese Haliburton doing the choke sign.
Yeah,
and everything else. I'll turn it off at halftime if that's the case.
Yeah, and I totally agree. I would love to see that. I just wonder, how capable are they of that right now? I mean, especially now, you want to tell me that, Josh Hart, OG, and Mikal Bridges come back and are aces again defensively, then yeah. But, I mean, that's asking a lot at this point because those guys got worked.
Supposed to do, but
they got worked last night by the Pacers.
Well, all right, you got worked. You got embarrassed. You took ownership of it. For the most part, the guys did that. And that's why I think that I want to see if it's going to be their final home game, if it is to be their final home game, it better be one where it is like balls to the wall. I mean, literally balls to the wall. I mean, it's got to be knock down, drag out. This is our building. You are not winning here.
Yeah, and I don't know when it switched in the NBA and who won championships and what teams were the ones that got there, but of course, you still need star players. I'm not saying that. But it used to be like the biggest collection of talent would always seem to win. When there were big threes everywhere, was the Celtics or the Heat or the Warriors, and they would seem to win. And in the last number of years, it's the teams that are the deepest with the best role players that have a clear leader. And the Knicks are not deep. They do have a clear leader. And also ones that play defense have an identity like the Pacers. But the way that the Pacers are built is exactly what you want in today's NBA for trying to win a championship. I mean, they got so many contributors and a great coach.
Well, that's the thing. They did give up 121 points.
Well, yeah, okay,
I mean,
but
at the end of the day,
they scored 130.
They're not a great defensive team at all. But they're a deep team. That's the thing. They played 10 guys.
I mean, they're just as good as the Knicks' defense, if not better, right?
And last night was Mathurin.
Yeah, he finally showed up.
He finally showed up,
yeah.
And this is their bench shows up. A guy here or a guy there. Ben Shepherd will hit a shot. T.J. McConnell's a pain in the ass. And then all of a sudden Mathurin shows up last night. So, yeah, they are a deep basketball team. He plays those guys, and they want to play fast, and they want to hoist up a lot of shots. And that, it's like the Mike D'Antoni Knicks used to be.
Well, yeah, and then previously that, the Suns as well, when he was doing that 7 seconds or less deal and everything else. So, yeah, it was discouraging, and I have little faith at this point, but of course, if they win Game 5 and they win it in convincing fashion, then I'll be right back there with the peaks and valleys. I was really, really frustrated with the Knicks and very impressed with the Pacers last night. And Haliburton's game, you couldn't have been better than he was last night.
I know.
In a game to put his team up 3-1 after coming off a performance, just like you said, all those guys took accountability last night on the Knicks. Was the exact thing that Haliburton said after Game 3. He said, "I got to be better. That was not good enough."
I got to be more aggressive. Yeah, he had to be more aggressive, and Reggie Miller kept saying that last night. But look at how effing wide open he is.
Yeah.
Look at these shots.
I know, it's embarrassing.
There's nobody within 5 feet of him.
That's
either a total flat out disconnect or a lack of effort. It's one of the two. I don't want to say they're not prepared. They've been playing them, now for the last week.
I also think they're just getting and this is not, I'm not having the same Tibbs conversation about minutes, but I honestly think when you're playing a team that's this deep, that runs like that, when the Knicks are, up and down, they look exhausted. For God's sakes, that team in the fourth quarter, they looked exhausted last night. And it's not just a Tibbs minutes conversation, it's just the way the Pacers, just beat them down with the way that they play.
I was just shocked at the amount of open shots.
Yeah.
And, in the second half, they started missing some shots. When you think about it, their first half, the first quarter especially, they were just on fire.
Yeah.
And then the second half, they started missing some shots. But the amount of wide open shots was alarming last night, and the amount of gimmies around the bucket.
Too easy.
Inbound plays where there's nobody stopping somebody to go. They're all lined up at the foul line, and then they do their movement, and boom, a guy right down the lane is wide open.
Yeah, when you score 121 points in a playoff game and you still lose by 9, you know that the defense stinks.